What's up, Star Wars nerds, and welcome to another episode of Brett on Fett. On today's episode, I'm going to be going over every single Hasbro Star Wars release for the San Diego Comic-Con. Let's get to it.
It's a fact. It's the greatest city in the history of mankind. Discovered by the Germans in 1904, they named it San Diego.
Welcome back to the channel. This is episode 48 of Brett on Fett, and originally started in 1970 as the Golden State Comic Book Convention, what is now known as the San Diego Comic-Con International, or SDCC, has grown into the largest convention for comic books, sci-fi, and fantasy film and TV, pop culture, and collectibles. It's a huge event, and over the years, collectible toys have become a bigger and bigger part of this convention. Well, in 2001, Hasbro started putting out their first convention-exclusive figures. They started with the C-3PO that was exclusive for the JediCon convention in Germany. And by 2005, they began putting out figures basically every year exclusively for the San Diego Comic-Con. And so for this video, I wanted to go over each and every release Hasbro Star Wars put out specifically for the San Diego Comic-Con convention. Now keep in mind that Hasbro has released a number of exclusive figures for other conventions throughout the years, but the majority of their convention exclusives have been for SDCC. And so for this video, I'm just going to be going over the SDCC releases, and maybe down the road, I'll do another video combining all the releases for all the other conventions. But for now, this is just SDCC, so let's get started because there's a lot. All right, so right off the bat, I'm kind of cheating with the first two on this list because these were not figures that were exclusively for the San Diego Comic-Con, but they were the first convention exclusive figures that Hasbro put out that were sold at the San Diego Comic-Con. So that started in 2003 with this convention exclusive silver anniversary Boba Fett. Hasbro made a few of these silver figures back then in the early 2000s, and this is probably my favorite. Of course, I love Boba Fett, and it's a very cool looking figure. Really, all of them they put out are really good looking figures for display. They have little to no articulation, but I still think they're pretty cool. Now, the second silver convention exclusive figure Hasbro put out was in 2004 with this Sand Trooper. Now, something unusual to note is it's not actually labeled as a convention figure on this one like it was for the Boba Fett, but I found multiple legitimate sources that cite this as a convention exclusive figure. Okay, so I thought those first two were worth mentioning, but now we're getting into the real deal. From here on out are legitimate SDCC exclusive figures from Star Wars Hasbro, beginning with the holographic Princess Leia. I happen to have this one. This is the only full-size 3 3/4 holographic Leia released as a figure, and you can see it's got the SDCC 2005 label in the top left corner, a cool image of Leia and R2 in the background. And then taking a look at the back, you got a nice image there of 3PO, Luke, and Obi-Wan watching Leia deliver her holographic message through R2. Overall, a pretty cool packaged figure, nice way to start off the Comic-Con exclusives. Next up in 2006, Hasbro released the 501st Stormtrooper as an SDCC exclusive. This is inspired by the 501st Legion, which is that costume group of Star Wars fans, an organization that puts on a ton of charity events, really awesome group of fans. And so this is inspired by them. It's got some nice accessories, including the Vader's Fist banner and a trading card. So pretty cool little package there for 2006. Next in 2007, Hasbro released R2KT. This is a very special figure I featured on my channel before, and it was made in honor of a little girl named Katie Johnson who sadly passed away from brain cancer. Well, her father was the founder of the 501st Legion I mentioned for the previous figure, and the Make-A-Wish Foundation teamed up with the R2 Builders Club to make a pink R2 unit to watch over Katie in the hospital. And so this figure is in honor of Katie and the droid that was made for her. So really neat SDCC exclusive for 2007. Another SDCC exclusive put out by Hasbro in 2007 was the 30th anniversary Ralph McQuarrie concept Obi-Wan and Yoda. Now, I'm a big fan of Ralph McQuarrie's art, so I love these concept figures they put out. There's the Comic-Con logo there. There's the artwork that the figures are based on, and there's a face only a mother would love Yoda, and a very different Obi-Wan. You see it came with a coin, as these always did. There's an image of Ralph McQuarrie on the back, and some of the other McQuarrie concept figures. So pretty neat. Hasbro did put out this version of Obi-Wan in the Black Series recently. But Hasbro didn't stop there. In 2007, they put out a third figure. This is the Shadow Scout with speeder bike, and I have this one as well. A very cool piece. I love Shadow Troopers, and what's not to love about a Shadow speeder bike. Very awesome looking figure, and the packaging is really cool, the way they shaped it. Put all the designs on there as well, so I really like this one. It's a little difficult to show on camera because of all the glare, but it is a very awesome piece, very fun Comic-Con exclusive. Next up, from the 2008 San Diego Comic-Con, Hasbro put out the Legacy Collection Disturbance in the Force action figure playset, and as far as I know, this is the only action figure set with a 3 3/4 holographic image of the Emperor from that awesome scene from Empire Strikes Back, and this thing even came with batteries and lights up and plays dialogue from the scene, so very cool. Also for the 2008 SDCC, for the Clone Wars line, Hasbro put out the Clone Trooper Senate Security. This is one of those guys that worked for the Coruscant Guard under Commander Fox or Commander Thayer, and they eventually became the, I guess, Shock Troopers. So pretty cool Phase 1 clone release there. In 2009, for the Legacy Collection, Hasbro put out a Stormtrooper Commander from the Force Unleashed video game. Of course, we recently got an updated version of this guy in TVC. That was his first appearance. And for the same year, Hasbro also put out an SDCC exclusive Luke Skywalker. This is an X-Wing Luke, also known as Smiling Luke, because of his ridiculous smile on his face. I mean, this guy is super happy. But the neat feature is that he came with a ladder for his X-Wing. For the 2010 San Diego Comic-Con, Hasbro put out just one exclusive release, and it was this Visionaries comic 2-pack featuring Darth Maul and Owen Lars. Nothing too spectacular about this one, it's just another comic pack. This is back when Hasbro was putting out a ton of these. Now, coming off what I would consider a weak year for Hasbro SDCC releases in 2010, Hasbro came back strong in 2011 with this amazing release of a Revenge of the Jedi inspired Death Star figure pack containing 14 TVC figures with the Revenge of the Jedi Chase logo on them. These are alternative card backs, with the exception of 2 figures featured in the middle were all new and exclusive to this set, and that was the Salacious Crumb and the Mouse Droid. This was just an amazing set. This is a holy grail item for TVC collectors, and just a really cool idea. I love these. Would love to own this set one day. Hasbro came back strong again in 2012 with the SDCC exclusive Carbonite Freezing Chamber figure set. This was kind of their swan song for the TVC 1.0, the first run of the vintage collection. And it came with 6 figures with alternate card backs inspired by the original concept that Kenner was going to go with for their figures back in the day, but eventually scrapped. And it's 6, one for each of the episode films. And these were not exclusive to this set. These were available individually at retail. But then there was a 7th figure this set came with, which was a vintage collection style Jar Jar Binks in Carbonite. What an awesome figure. It's hilarious. A very neat idea. And he was stored through the top where the Carbonite chamber would be. So very cool idea, and he is another holy grail for most vintage collection collectors. 2013 marked the beginning of what I like to refer to as the dark times, because it was seemingly the end of the vintage collection. We had no more vintage collection. We didn't know if it was coming back. And so all we had was this brand new 6-inch scale called the Black Series. Well, the silver lining is that we did get some pretty cool stuff with the Black Series, I have to admit. And starting with this 2013 SDCC exclusive Boba Fett and Han Solo in Carbonite set. This is one of my favorite pieces in my collection. Just a very cool set all around. The packaging is so cool. But I just love the simple design of the box, and it's got this really cool art on the back from that scene from Empire Strikes Back on Bespin. And let's just go ahead and take the lid off here and take a look at the goodies inside. Just a very well done set. I love how they organized the accessories here and labeled them. It's just so cool. It was so well done. I was just in awe of this set when I got it way back in 2013. And just to show you, take the tray out, it did come with some stands as well. So very nicely done. I would say this is a holy grail item for most Black Series collectors. And this would be the first of many SDCC exclusive Black Series offerings Hasbro would give us. Next up, also for 2013, you know, I thought before making this video, I was familiar with all the San Diego Comic-Con Star Wars releases from Hasbro, but I was wrong. Somehow I missed that this ever came out. This is the Angry Birds Star Wars special action figure set. This thing is awesome. I had no idea this existed. And of course, they've made Angry Birds versions of the original 12 Kenner Star Wars figures. And they've even placed images of those original 12 Star Wars figures on the back of the box so you can compare it to the Angry Birds version. What an awesome idea and great execution for an exclusive for SDCC. I kind of want this now. I just don't know how expensive it is on the aftermarket and, you know, where I'd put it because I'm sure it's huge. In 2014, Hasbro had just one SDCC release for Star Wars, and that was the Black Series Jabba the Hutt's Throne Room, which came in a neat little box that opens up to reveal Jabba's throne, and of course it comes with Salacious Crumb. And it's a nice little set. I like the way it looks, and it even has a spot for Han and Carbonite. It comes with a cardboard version, but you can actually remove that and replace it with the actual Han and Carbonite that came with the 2013 Boba Fett and Han set. So that's a pretty nice little feature. Overall, this is a pretty cool exclusive package. 2015 marked the beginning of the sequel trilogy era for Star Wars, and the first action figure from Hasbro that fans got a glimpse of was this San Diego Comic-Con First Order Stormtrooper. Pretty nice looking release, but this would be the only Hasbro Star Wars figure for the 2015 San Diego Comic-Con. 2016 saw the release of 3 SDCC exclusive figures from Hasbro, beginning with this Sergeant Jyn Erso from Rogue One. Of course, Rogue One debuted in theaters this same year, and I think this one was kind of a lackluster release. It just came with her pistol and a removable hood. Next for 2016 was the Black Series Kylo Ren, inspired from The Force Awakens. Now, regardless of what you think about the sequel trilogy or Kylo Ren, this is a pretty awesome package here. I love the image of Vader's burnt up helmet, and it came with some nice accessories. It's got the First Order banner, and it's got a swappable head for his helmet, as well as the burnt up Vader helmet for him to hold. And so I think it looks pretty good. This is a good figure, really cool set. The third SDCC exclusive figure from Hasbro for 2016, and my favorite of the 3, is the Obi-Wan Kenobi set. This is, of course, Old Ben, the Alec Guinness version of Obi-Wan, and it recreates that scene with R2 playing the holographic message from Leia. And the really neat thing about this set is the Leia actually lights up, and it plays sound. It plays her reciting the message to Kenobi. So a really cool idea. It's a good looking Kenobi. I like everything about this set. In 2017, Lucasfilm was gearing up for the release of The Last Jedi, and so Hasbro put out this 2-pack of Luke Skywalker Jedi Master and Rey Jedi Training. Another rather ho-hum release for the Black Series, probably made worse by the mixed reception for the film. Now, the second 2017 SDCC exclusive figure put out by Hasbro is one of my favorites, and it's the Grand Admiral Thrawn set. what an amazing package this has, and it was a grail of mine, but if you follow my Instagram account, you'll know that I did get this guy a few weeks ago after he was seemingly lost in the mail for over a month and stressing me out. He did arrive, and so I am going to do a video that features my review of this figure. It's going to be an all Thrawn episode, so keep your eye out for that in the near future. In 2018, Hasbro released 3 SDCC exclusive figure sets, starting with the Black Series Starkiller base with Rey versus Kylo Ren. It's kind of like a statue set because these figures are not very articulated, if at all. However, the one neat thing about this set is it does come with an LED light up backdrop, so that's kind of cool. Next up for 2018 was another Black Series release. This is the Han Solo Exogorth escape, recreating that scene when they had landed the Falcon inside that Exogorth beast. And it's a pretty cool little setup. I like how they put in the fog effects in the packaging, and of course it comes with the Mynock and then props for the Millennium Falcon. So, you know, it's just a 2-figure set. I think this is the only way you can get a Mynock in the Black Series, if I'm not mistaken. So overall, pretty cool set. And finally, for the 2018 SDCC, with the reemergence of the Vintage Collection, we got a special action figure set for TVC for Dr. Aphra. This is the Dr. Aphra comic set. This is an awesome piece. I have this one. I love it. And it features Dr. Aphra, BT-1 or BD, and 000. These are her crazy murder droids. And by far the best part about this set, and of course it's got that iridescent foil packaging I love so much, and really cool artwork on the back. So great set for San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. 2019 had some really cool SDCC exclusive releases by Hasbro Star Wars, starting with this Black Series 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett in his Kenner colors. You guys have seen this a number of times on my channel. It is another one of my favorites for my collection. I love that combination of a modern figure with those retro colors, and I love the image on the back and the iridescent foil packaging. This thing has it all. It's just a really awesome figure. And then also in 2019 for SDCC, we got the first of the retro collection prototype figures, beginning with the Darth Vader. As you guys know, if you follow my channel, I love these prototype figures, mainly because of the packaging with the awesome artwork and the iridescent foil card back. And then check out the image on the back. What an incredible recreation of the scene between Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. I know these aren't for everybody, but I was really happy Hasbro started doing these. I think they make awesome display pieces for my collection. Next up from 2019, Hasbro followed up the 2018 special action figure set with Dr. Aphra with another special action figure set. This one, the Luke Skywalker Jedi Destiny set, featuring 3 different versions of Luke. You got the Stormtrooper disguise Luke, the X-Wing pilot Luke, and the Jedi Knight Luke from Return of the Jedi. Nothing spectacular about this release, but it is pretty cool to get another one of those special action figure sets. In 2020, the SDCC event was actually canceled due to the COVID pandemic. However, we still got some pretty cool SDCC exclusive releases from Hasbro, starting with this Black Series Hoth Wampa set in the vintage packaging style. However, it has the foil, iridescent look on the packaging, which was a nice touch. And the figure looks pretty cool as well. He came with a Hoth Luke Skywalker, complete with beat up face. Next from 2020 is another one of my favorite Black Series releases for SDCC, and it's one I don't own but wouldn't mind owning, and it's the Heroes of Endor. This was a really neat idea to package it this way, with recreating the scenes with the backdrops, and you've got Han Solo, Leia, Luke Skywalker, and Paploo on the speeder bike. And I just really love the way this thing could fold out in different scenarios, and the figures are not too bad as well. They look pretty good in my opinion, but overall it's the packaging that sells it for me. This was a really cool idea, very cool set. And then finally for 2020, And for the Vintage Collection, you're probably noticing a pattern here. Yet another special action figure set release. This is the 501st Legion ARC Troopers set. And this was a very exciting release when it came out because it was the first time for the Vintage Collection that we got Echo 5s in Jesse for that line. And they looked really good, you know, with the exception of maybe the mistake on Jesse's helmet having a rangefinder. But other than that, they look really good. And the packaging was, again, in that iridescent foil style packaging. So really awesome set. 2021 saw yet another cancellation of the SDCC event. However, they did make it up towards the end of the year with a smaller, more limited version of the convention. And Hasbro did put out a couple of releases. And starting with the Black Series, they put out this Cantina Showdown and the Power of the Force 2 style packaging, featuring Dr. Evazan, Ponda Baba, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Pretty cool looking set. I thought it was kind of funny that they called it Cantina Showdown when they already had a previous Black Series set called exactly that, Cantina Showdown. That one featuring Han Solo and Greedo, which was a Toys R Us exclusive from 2014. But regardless, this is a pretty cool set. I think the only issue people had with this one is it only comes with half of the bar. And if you wanted to complete the bar, you'd have to pay for a whole other set for 3 figures you wouldn't need at that point. So that was kind of a gripe amongst a lot of Black Series collectors on this one. And then the other 2021 SDCC exclusive release for Hasbro was for the Vintage Collection, and it's the Emperor's Throne Room. A pretty cool set. Of course, we also got the Emperor released on an individual card that year, but this one had a different face expression and has, of course, his throne and the window behind him from the Death Star, and the box actually opens up to kind of recreate that scene, so that's kind of a nice little feature. In 2022, SDCC resumed as normal, and Hasbro put out 3 releases for the convention. The first being this Black Series, Cassian Andor and B2 EMO. Of course, Andor debuted in 2022, a very awesome series. And arguably the best part about this set is the release of B2 EMO. It is the only way you can get that figure, and he is a beloved droid, especially thanks to his appearance in the show. So overall, it's a pretty nice set, but especially since you can actually get this Cassian Andor separately for the Black Series, the best part about this package is the B2 EMO droid. Next up for 2022 was the Vintage Collection's Mandalorian The Rescue set. A pretty nice set. It's got exclusive figures. It's all 4 versions of these characters that you can only get with this package. So you've got the battle damaged Dark Trooper, you've got the Beskar Mandalorian with flame effects, and you've got a new version of Moff Gideon, as well as the Grogu. Although the Grogu is basically the same, I think just his hands are different, and he comes with the handcuffs. A pretty nice little set, a little bit overpriced in my opinion. I don't personally have this one, at least not yet. I'm going to wait to see if it does get discounted before I make this purchase. And finally, for 2022 SDCC, Hasbro released a exclusive Black Series Boba Fett in Disguise. This is part of that publishing collection or comic book series, I like to call it. And you guys have seen this on my channel probably before. I just love the packaging on this figure, and I think the figure itself is fairly cool looking as well. It's basic, it's all black. It got a lot of hate for that, and because the price was higher than normal, of course you had to have that Boba Fett text in there. But overall, I thought this was an excellent release and the perfect kind of thing to do for a convention exclusive. Alright, so that's going to do it for this episode of Brett on Fett. Let me know in the comments what some of your favorite San Diego Comic-Con exclusive figures are. Thanks for watching. Thank you to my subscribers. Don't forget you can also follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. Take care, and we'll see you next time.